EVM machines worked in your favor, or were they manipulated?
Well, I hate to say this, but if everything was fine and if it was a clean and 100% clear election because the EC was taking dictation from the government, that's pretty obvious, you know that by now.
Oh, and then after taking dictation, it gave you the number of seats that it did.
Indeed. Otherwise, I'll tell you why. When I mean by
dictation लेते हैं वो लोग. भाई election commission बड़ी बुरी dictation लेता है.
I'll tell you what is the dictation.
It gives you 220 seats in the assembly and gives the BJP only 77, and yet you say that the EVMs and the election commission were listening and taking dictation from the BJP government at the center.
Let me talk about cricket, leave politics aside. Because sometimes you can still have a bad umpire, but when your team is so good, your batsmen, your bowlers, your captain, your vice captain, Mamata the captain, Abhishek the vice captain, when you're so good, even if the umpires are blatantly, unless the ball hits the stumps and the stumps go flying, then only you're out, otherwise no LBWs, and you still win. That's the thing. But I think, Mr. Kumar, let me make one point.
Mr. Derek O'Brien, I just need to take this opportunity to say that your humility is so touching. So touching about how good you are and how bad the rest of the world is. Every institution from election commission to Supreme Court to Parliament, everything else is
Did I say Supreme Court? Run the tape. I have not mentioned Supreme Court even once. You added that line, so don't put those words in my mouth.
Supreme Court on Rafale, you know.
I have not mentioned Rafale. I have not mentioned Supreme Court.
So you're saying that matter is settled?
No.
You're saying that matter is settled?
Don't put words in my mouth. I've done television for 25 years. I'm not going to fall for that.
No, I haven't. I've done it only for 15.
Yeah, that's why I've got to.
Yeah, so you're the boss. So you're the boss?
ED. These are the good allies. Shiromani to Bhagya, Shiv Sena Bhagya, but these are the really good allies. CBI, ED. You can Dainik Bhaskar. I mean, suddenly Dainik Bhaskar raid. The wire raid. Let me make my point. So CBI.
CD or ED?
Now don't confuse me with the abbreviations. See, I've had. So it's not on a serious note. It's CBI, it's ED, it's all these agencies. That's one. Then you have the EC. In DMK in Tamil Nadu, 220 odd seats one day. In Bengal, 8 days. So you made the rules, you made everything.
Okay, so Mr. Derek O'Brien, okay, on the Bengal phases of elections, last time how many phases were there?
Good question, I'll tell you.
How many questions? How many?
You have to give me a chance.
Quizmaster.
Quizmaster knows his stuff.
Okay. Yeah, but Quizmaster, one number answer.
I'll give you a one number answer.
One number answer. How many? 8 this time, how many last time?
Why were they?
7?
You want to give the question and the answer, then go ahead. Then मैं तो क्विज मास्टर नहीं हूँ.
क्योंकि ये तो बाहर का फैक्ट है ना, हम तो पढ़ के आते हैं ना. आप पर्चियां लाए हैं, हम भी तो लाए हैं.
No. Last time was 7. This time was 8. There are two differences. Let me make the point. Serious point. When the Bengal elections were held in 7 phases, please look at the number of Maoist violence deaths last time. That number was in the hundreds. Maoist violent deaths in Bengal are 0. There's a big difference between last time and this time. We told this, I'm not telling this to you privately. We told this to the Election Commission with all humility. That is one. And number 2, we made 17 representations to the EC on the COVID issue, saying that don't do this, but they kept delaying. And the Prime Minister was reveling, he was salivating on the crowds which were coming. The COVID percentage rate went up to 33%. Now we've had to bring it down to 21%. And you cannot talk about Bengal elections.
And your party was holding smaller rallies.
My party,
2016, 7 phases. 2011, how many phases, sir?
2011, there were 6 phases in elections.
6 A and B.
Yes, but look at the number.
So that's
look
7.
At the number.
So that was 7 as well.
You've just lost the argument.
7 phases in 2011, 7 phases in 2016, and 8 phases in 2021 when there was the specter of. मुझे बोलने तो दीजिए सर. मेरा शो है, मेरा स्टूडियो है. इतना complete तो करने दीजिए.
That's true actually. It is not. It's frankly speaking with Navika Kumar. You're right. Yeah. It's not Derek O'Brien, frankly speaking. You're correct.
The hashtag will be, frankly speaking, with Derek. That's the hashtag. But
I want to say one thing
but
about
the
Bengal.
show is frankly speaking.
Listen, this is nice Sunday afternoon. We're all relaxed. I think this crazy thing about the Bengal, the difference, you mentioned 2011, it's a fair point. 2011, we are just coming out of 34 years of left rule.
That
you look at
said
those
that
numbers.
somebody was fair.
Though, that's a fair question because you were coming off 34 years of left rule. There was a lot of the violence. Those numbers have become zero. And you cannot discuss the Bengal election unless you discuss two names. And you're not asking me, so I will ask you. The two faces of the BJP in the Bengal election, there was no other face. Mr. Modi and Mr. Shah.
So
and
they paid the price. And
what
that's
what price?
The prices they lost. I mean, they went up from 3 to 77. That's about it. 3 seats to 77.
That's one way of looking at it. Correct.
That's one.
That's how the spin they put. BJP puts a spin.
No. But they played. And in my interviews, Mr. Amit Shah had said 200 plus is what he expected. They didn't get it, and therefore you won fair and square. What they did, whether it was Jai Shri Ram, whether it was the people they projected, whether it was whatever the reasons is for the BJP.
I want to make a serious point.
It is for the BJP to introspect on that.
Ms. Kumar, let me make a serious point. Not politics. Not politics. I promise you, leave the politics out.
I'm happy to discuss politics with you.
I'll tell you why. You see, in all this, that Didi, misogyny, leave all that out. The real reason why, and this is the real reason why, is if you look at, and I was saying this before the elections in a very kind of aggressive way, calmly, in 10 years, Mamata Banerjee had made some promises and delivered those promises. And the people of Bengal had seen the BJP in 7 years, and according to them, they had not delivered the promises. It's the same thing now. Student credit card, we've delivered that in 2 months now, rolled out. 1,000 rupees to all women, 500 to SC/ST, 500 rupees delivered. A Silicon Valley hub coming up. If you look at the numbers in Bengal, if you look at the GDP numbers.
What about the